Hello everyone, this video is in continuation to our videos for grade 11th where we were discussing about the different type of algae. We have discussed green algae, red algae. Now here in this video we'll be discussing about the brown algae which is known as PHEOPHYTA. We'll be discussing about the general characteristics and reproduction. Please watch the video till the end because in the end you will get a full flowchart here on the board which you can note down for your further revisions. So please watch till the end. Starting up with the video. Now the algae which we are going to discuss here is PHEOPHYTA. So the first characteristic would be the pigments. The pigments. Now the pigments which are present here are chlorophyll A and C and fucoxanthin. It is chlorophyll A, C, fucoxanthin. Now this fucoxanthin, it is the brown colored pigment which gives it a brown color. Now here I'll be discussing the example and simultaneously its characteristics. So the first example is laminaria. Now laminaria is an alga which is generally the alga, they have different shapes and sizes. Laminaria, it is the tallest or you can say longest among the algae and its length would be up till 20 meters. It reaches up till 20 meters in length. And if you see the structure of laminaria, it has this hold fast and which will end up into this pointed structure. We have this kind of a leaf like structure here. So this is the hold fast and this is the stipe. So this would be the structure of the algae, brown algae laminaria. This brown algae laminaria are also called as scalps. Generally ये term भी it comes at multiple places. Scalps, तो अगर scalps की बात हो रही है तो they are talking about the brown algae. Next, after laminaria, the next example is sargassum. First, second would be sargassum. Now sargassum is a kind of alga which is generally found on the sea surface, and it is so entangled mass of sargassum. This type of sea is known as Sargasso Sea. The ship, they are not allowed in this portion of the sea because this is such a widespread area that the ships, they get entangled in this sargassum algae and they are unable to move and generally they sink also. So sargassum is a type of algae which grows on the sea and the huge mass on the surface of sea. Then we have and they are free floating as well. You can mention it here. They are free floating. After this, the next type are fucus and ectocarpus. We'll take these fucus and ectocarpus when we'll be discussing about the reproduction in the algae. Now, the next characteristic would be the cell wall. The cell wall present inside this type of alga has two components. It has cellulose plus it also has alginic acid present in it, also called as algin. Okay, so this is the composition of the cell wall, and this algin, it protects algae from drying and also from the waves of the sea. Okay, so after this is the composition of the cell wall, cellulose and alginic acid or algin. Then comes the most important part here, that is the mode of reproduction. I will just demarcate this. The mode of reproduction. Now the mode of reproduction in case of brown algae can be of both types. It can be asexual as well as sexual mode. We'll be discussing both by taking the example of fucus and ectocarpus. Now the first is in case of fucus. Now if we talk about fucus, what happens in fucus? The plant first of all is diploid in nature. The fucus plant is diploid in nature, and this diploid plant will undergo division to form a zoospore which is diploid in nature. This division will be without meiosis, and this diploid plant will form a zoospore which will be diploid in nature, and this diploid zoospore will give rise to a diploid plant. Now this type of reproduction takes place in fucus. If we talk about the next type, that is ectocarpus, generally ये हमारा होगा will be the third type and it will be the fourth. Ectocarpus. Now if we talk about reproduction in ectocarpus, what happens here in ectocarpus? The ectocarpus plant, it is diploid in nature. The plant is diploid. It will reproduce by both ways. In one of the conditions, it forms a unilocular sporangium. And this unilocular sporangium is going to give rise, or you can say is going to meiotically divide. It will undergo meiosis to form a zoospore which is diploid in nature. This zoospore which is formed, it is diploid in nature. This diploid zoospore will give rise to a plant which is also diploid in nature. This plant will lead to formation of male and female gamete. The fusion of male and female gamete will give rise to a, we'll just not make it here, it will fuse, and or you can make a plus sign here, and they will give rise to a zygote which is diploid in nature, and this zygote will lead to formation of a ectocarpus plant which is diploid in nature. The second condition here is, I'll make it with a different color, is that the second condition is that this plant which was diploid in nature will give rise to a plurilocular sporangium which will form a zoospore, and this zoospore is diploid in nature, and this zoospore will finally give rise to a diploid plant. So these are the two types of reproductions which can take place in ectocarpus, where the diploid plant either can form a unilocular sporangium, will form a haploid zoospore and then the plants, or it can directly form a plurilocular sporangium to form a diploid zoospore and finally form the plant. Now I'm talking about zoospore here again and again. The zoospore in case of brown alga has some specific features which are not seen in any other type. I'll just make it here. I will make it here. And this is a very important question as well. The zoospore, in case, if I see the structure, so this zoospore will have two type of flagella. First of all, it is biflagellate, and it has two type of flagella, both the flagella of different shape and size. So first characteristic is that it is biflagellate. Second is one flagella is whiplash type and long, and other is short and tinsel type in shape. Okay, so the zoospore, which is here in case of brown algae, is characteristically different because it is biflagellate and it also has lateral flagella. Generally you see a structure, तो ऐसे structure होता है, ऊपर की तरफ flagella are there, but in this case the flagella are lateral and there are two types of flagella which differ in shape and size as well. So this is the characteristic feature of the zoospore of brown algae. Then this was the mode of asexual reproduction. The sexual mode of reproduction, we have discussed asexual. The sexual mode of reproduction, I'll just write it here, कुछ ऐसा बड़ा elaborate नहीं है. Sexual mode of reproduction can take place or it is isogamous or it can be oogamous. I have explained these terms in one of my videos. Isogamous is where the male and female gametes are identical, and oogamous is where the female is non-motile and big and the male is small and motile, as in case of humans also, the ova which is stationary and big and the sperms which are motile and small in shape. So this is all about the brown algae, also known as kelps. Okay, we have done the pigments, the chlorophyll A and C, fucoxanthin, example laminaria, which is the longest among all, Sargassum, the second example, fucus and ectocarpus is there, cell wall is made up of cellulose, algic acid or algin. Then talking about the mode of reproduction, it can asexually reproduce and sexually it can reproduce. Sexually it reproduces by the method of isogamous conditions, states, or oogamous as well. Asexually, in case of fucus, it forms a diploid zoospore and forms a diploid plant. And the zoospore here in case of brown algae, an important question, is laterally biflagellate. Two type of flagella. One flagella is whiplash like and is long, other is small and tinsel type. Now the economic importance of brown algae, there are generally two main economic importance. One, brown algae, it is used as food. These kelps, they are eaten in Japan as food. They are kind of seafood, so they are eaten in food products in Japan. And second, it gives rise to, or algin is extracted from this brown algae, which helps to make ice creams. So this is the economic importance of PHEOPHYTA or brown algae, which are also known as kelps. In our next video, we'll be discussing about the economic importance of algae, and then we will start up with our next kingdom, that is the plant kingdom. Keep watching, liking, sharing, subscribing. Thank you.